and welcome back to Teenie's Quilt. I'm not finished with it, but I've got a lot accomplished, and I'm going to go over some things on what I did and how I did it, and I'm even going to do a little bit of stitching just to show you how easy it is to do some micro stippling. So basically, right now, this is Texas Star or Lone Star, whatever you want to call it. I have it probably about 95% completed, and what I did here is I just outlined the center. I put feathers in this part of it, and then the rest of it, almost all of it, I just put rays in. So the rays just kind of shoot out towards the end, but in this one here I just did a little echoing, a little spiral echoing in the diamond shape. So that's that on the star. Now we're going to get into the big part of it. So bear with me. I'm going to roll the quilt a little bit. And we'll get to some really good stuff down here. All right, so this Lone Star has these gigantic blocks. I think they're like 17 by 17. I'm not sure, but they're pretty big. So I had to frame it out and kind of make it smaller. Put in my feathered wreath, a grid, and then I stippled in every other square on the feathered wreath. And on the outline of this, I just stippled. I've got 1, 2, 3 straight lines, which gave me a center one here, and that's where I stippled all the way around, almost. I still have more to do up there, and it kind of gives it an effect of how the fabric kind of changes colors due to the stippling and the color of thread that I used, which is a lighter color than the brown. So I've got that one that I need to do, but let's just come right over here. This one is finished. The outside of it is finished all the way around, and I have my little checkerboard here, and I quilted in every other square. This is just a crosshatch grid, and kind of filled in where the feathers are right here with some micro stippling. The only thing I haven't done in this one is my grid work, filling in every other square. So I'm going to show you how that's done. So basically I want it to be kind of centered when I fill this in. So I do know that I'm in the center. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This one here is my center. So I know I'm going to do this in rows. So I'm going to come down. Let's see. I'm just going to start right here on this one. And when I micro stipple, I do it in manual. So when I push the button for my machine to start, my needle automatically goes up and down, and I have to move the machine to get the stitch length that I want. I have it set, the speed on this for manual is 650, which seems like a lot, but it's really not. And you can see that I'm not moving the machine very fast when I'm doing this. And a lot of times I'll have my hand just sitting right here just to cause a little bit of drag, not much. And I'm just filling in the space by just moving the machine. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one. And then over. Okay, now when I get to this point here, I've got almost a full row finished. Then I'm going to move up. I will not be stitching this one right here. I'm going to move on up to this area right here because, again, we're wanting to do every other square over. And with practice, you'll be able to do this as well. And again, I have it at 650 speed, and I am just barely moving my machine. I am in control of my stitch length, just having fun, changing the color of the fabric. Okay, I'm going to drop down and fill this in. Back up. And with this micro stippling, you don't have to worry about if you hit your stitches, if you cross your stitches. The stippling is so small that it really doesn't make a difference. Nobody's going to examine it. So I've got that finished, and 2 rows are finished. Let me clip my thread here. All right, thread is clipped. Now I'm going to skip this row right here. This one right here, and I'll be stippling in these little squares right here. So I'm going to travel on up, and here we go. Just paying attention, and these are little squares. These are little 1/2-inch squares, and you want to fill the space. So I'm reaching out to the very edge of the stitch line that creates the square, the little squares. If you don't reach out and fill the whole space, it kind of looks unfinished. I'm going to travel on up, and I'm going to get what's left here. And this side of it is finished. So I'm going to travel down, and then I'll stitch this part right here. Now at this point, if I don't feel comfortable in manual, I'll put it in regulated, and I'll just move my machine. And regulated is, or precision, whatever you want to call it, is when I stop, the needle stops. All right, I'm going to put it back in manual, and I'm going to take off again, and let's do this. I know this is probably boring to watch, but if you take your time, I don't ever get in a hurry when I'm quilting like this. My grandmother always told me, take your time when she was teaching me how to sew. Take your time, do it right, and then you won't have to redo it. And I think that just kind of stuck with me all these years. But you know, there are times when I do need to take out stitches, so it does happen. I'm sure y'all could relate to that. I really like this micro stippling. I'm going to travel down. When you are micro stippling and you have it in manual, you are in charge of your stitch length by the movement of your machine. But when you're making this when you're stippling this small, or anything that's small like this, background fills or whatever, you do want very, very small stitches. And I would say anywhere from maybe 16 to 18 stitches per inch. That's kind of what I look for. And when you are doing a grid like this, you really need to be careful that you don't stitch 2 squares in a row. Trust me, it happens. It's happened to me a few times when I first started doing this. So you kind of need to be aware of where you're at while you're stitching and where you need to be. It can be fixed by taking out the stitches, but you know, we want to try to prevent doing that. Okay, that one's done. So the great thing also too about micro stippling is I really don't have to lock my stitches in. I'm just going to turn the machine on and just barely move the machine, and their stitches are locked in. All right, we're going to go over to the other side. That's how you do a grid when you want to fill in every other one. Now I have filled in every other one on these grids here. This one I have not. So let's start with that. Actually, let's start down here. We're going to start down here, and I want to fill in this center space here. And again, it's the same movement, same setting, and take my time. Here we go, just filling in the space. If you find when you're doing stippling, whether it is micro stippling or any size, whatever it is, and you feel like you're getting a little bit larger or smaller, you just need to stop for a moment. Just stop, look at what you've done, and kind of take a glance at that, and then just ease back into that size. And trust me, it does happen. Sometimes my micro stippling gets a little bit larger, and other times it gets a little bit smaller. So I don't know, it must be something in the air deciding which way it's going to go, or just me just maybe getting tired. It's probably the second one, me getting tired, because this can be kind of stressful. So also when you are micro stippling, you also want to stay relaxed. You should be able to move the machine with ease. You don't grip the handlebars, and we don't watch the needle, we watch where we want to go, filling in the space. So we're just trying to make a lot of curves here. A lot of curves. And again, if my stippling is touching, or I get points, it's so small that it's very, very hard to see that you crossed the stitch line or you got points. And when I get finished with this, these blocks, you'll be able to see these blocks from quite a ways, from a distance, and they're just going to be very, very stunning. Okay, so I've got the center, so while I've got the machine going, new bobbin, everything, I'm not going to cut my thread. I'm just going to continue to go. So I don't want to stitch in this one right here. We're going to leave that one blank, because it's almost like this stippled line here is going up under it. And then I'll be stippling this one here. So it's every other one again. But I'm going to start over here in the corner. I'm going to move to the center. And then I'm going to move back behind in the back corner here. And now when I get to this point, I may want to use my ruler. Sometimes when stitching at an angle, if it's not horizontal or vertical, sometimes stitching at an angle, it's hard to keep that straight line. So I'm just going to use my ruler just to guide me on down. And now I'm going to stitch in this one here. And then I'm going to come over and stitch in this little corner here. All right, now that I've made it to this corner here. And you do this enough and you can understand you always want to get to where you need to be. So now I want to stitch here, so I've stippled all the way to this corner right here, and now I'm going to come on down. And I'm going to fill in this space here. And if you do get outside the line of this, you know, it's your choice. Do you want to take it out, or do you just want to let it go? It's your decision. Sometimes, you know, if it's just barely out, that's okay, let it go. We're almost finished with this block here. Now this quilt is actually going to be quilted pretty heavy. I've talked to my sister, Teenie. I'm going to be giving this quilt to her. She actually made it for me. I believe I said that before. But she's going to get it. She's been watching the progress of it, and she's actually pretty excited about it. I hope she's excited about it. I'm sure she is. Who doesn't want a quilt? All right, coming to the end here. Yay! Okay, and now I'm just gonna, I locked in my stitches already just because that needle moves so fast that I'm able to do that. Now, I'm gonna cut my thread. Now that's finished. The other one on the opposite side is finished. I have 2 more of these to go, and I have 3 of the triangles to go. So I have a question, and you can answer this in the comments, but I have these rays all the way around, and let me know if you think that I should stipple in every other ray or just leave it as it is. So I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I do hope that you try some micro stippling. It's time consuming, and it can be stressful if you're not used to doing it. I remember when I first started, my neck hurt, my shoulders hurt, but you have to stay relaxed. So if you do try this, stay relaxed and give it a chance. I think it's beautiful. Thank you.